It's all music related.
Oh, cool.
So I
Music
teach music.
therapy or...
I play in nursing homes and do concerts. I
Awesome.
play at wineries. I'm also a
Nice.
worship leader in a church. Everything's music related, but I
Yeah.
do a whole bunch of stuff that's
That's so
like
cool.
that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
and a lot of stuff with seniors.
Yeah,
Do a lot of shows for seniors and with seniors.
right. What
And
wineries have you gone to? I live in Napa.
these are all in Livermore.
Oh, in Livermore, yeah.
Yeah, so I lead a couple of ukulele jams
Oh,
at
fun.
a couple of the wineries during the summer, and I get
Yeah.
50 or 60 people out there playing with me, and a lot of them are seniors
Mm-hmm.
who maybe can't play guitar anymore, but they can
Right.
play ukulele, and they just have a great time and drinking wine and just having a good time. It's
Great.
really fun.
That sounds so great. So the ukulele's easier to learn.
Much easier.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Okay. Maybe that's my instrument.
it's really easy.
I tried to
Plus-
relearn the violin because I used to play a little bit when I was young, and it was so hard.
Oh, violin's so
I
hard.
was like, I can't. I don't think I can do this.
Yeah,
It was,
violin's like a 10 and ukulele's like a 2
yeah,
in,
it was
in terms of
super
ease of
frustrating.
playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling him I tried to take lessons a few years ago because I used to play a little bit, and I was
Violin?
like, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, ukulele would be easy for you if
Yeah.
you used to take it,
Oh yeah,
right? If you used to do violin, because I tried. That was my first attempted instrument.
violin.
Violin.
Oh,
It's
really?
hard. I can
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
it a little bit. It's so hard to make it sound good. And
Oh, I know. Just the moving of the fingers,
Yeah,
like
all of
getting
that.
that
Just
down.
one draw, yeah, just to be able to draw
I
evenly
know.
back
and then you're doing this too, which is like such a weird position,
I
but that's
know.
how you do it.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. It's one of my
It's a
favorites.
beautiful
but-
Oh, it's a great instrument.
Yeah.
Try getting good at it. Ukulele right away. You play
Yeah,
it,
you
you're
gotta-
strumming along.
That's a big ego boost right there.
Yeah, it is.
Keeps
It
you
is.
going. Yeah.
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 It is. You can play a song in like 15 minutes. You're already playing something.
Yeah.
My problem is I have to keep relearning it over and over again. Oh yeah, it gets a little easier. I'm like, hey, I got the C to G real good now, right?
Yeah.
I got that, but I'll have to add a third chord at some point.
Yeah. You have to keep practicing.
Yeah.
Doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
One of my ukulele jams, I started with a medley of songs you can play with one chord. There's like 6 or 7
Oh,
chords.
cool.
You just keep strumming one chord, and there's all these songs you can play over
Yeah,
that.
but
Everybody's
you try
going,
to
"Hey,
introduce
I'm
this.
playing music.
Try to introduce the strum pattern. That's what will change it up from
Yeah,
one song
a little,
to
yeah,
another.
some more, not right at first. People kind of pick up on it, but
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a part of it.
Right, right.
But it's just really easy to be engaged immediately.
All right, peeps,
That's what you
Yeah.
need.
we're going to start our intros. So quit having so much fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Down to serious business.
All right. Oh, these are on. This is on.
Testing.
All right, we're about to get started, so I'm going to give you your first little piece of work for the morning is everyone turn off your phones. Turn off your phones, no ringy dingies, no songs. I almost forgot to turn my phone off. Okay, that's so quiet. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm excited. It's going to be a great day. I was telling Bill, I chose a word. I don't usually choose a word, but I chose a word this year. It's flourish. Isn't that a nice word? Flourish. It means growth, thriving, and positive change. So that's my word. So I'm going to be focusing on that this year. Let's start out by introducing the very important people that help me continue to bring this seminar series to you free of charge. We are going to have our 9th year anniversary in June, month after month after month. Can you believe it? 9 months. Who's here for the first time? Okay, we still have some newbies. That's great. Well, welcome. And then the rest of you, I think, are very special groupies. But these are our VIPs that help make this a reality, and I'll have them introduce themselves to you real briefly. And we've got their little contact information up above as well. And then if you have a question for them, for me, about the topic today, for any of our speakers, put that on your evaluations, and we'll make sure that you get in contact with the right people. So don't forget to fill those out. We read every single one of them. We take everything into account. So those are very important. Okay, what else? I guess that's it. So let's make sure. Why don't I have you guys just, is this on? Yeah. Why don't you just come on up and just briefly introduce yourself?
Good morning and Happy New Year. My name is Ellen Osmondson. I'm the founder of Mount Diablo Village for Seniors. We believe aging is better together.
Hello, everyone. My name is Athena Quinones. I'm the Business Development Director for Kisco Senior Living in Walnut Creek. You know our communities as Byron Park and the Kensington. If you need local resources or information on senior living, please come see me.
Happy New Year. My name is Megan Molo. I work for CareQuest. We have been covering Contra, Costa County, and Alameda counties for over 25 years. We identify independent livings, assisted livings, memory cares, and board and cares free of service. Thank you so much for coming today.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Betancourt. I brought the sunshine for you today. I have interim health care. It's home care support services. Keep you safe and comfortable in your homes. I've been doing it for over 25 years here in Contra, Costa. And if there's any information I can help you with, just to direct you, that's what I'm here for. So welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Vincent Rossi. I am a residential real estate agent, and I'm here supporting Dayna and helping her with this wonderful series that she puts on every month.
Awesome. Yeah, so Vincent and I, Vincent's my partner in crime, moving forward with the seminar series, because there's a lot of work, a lot of behind the doors, behind the scenes work that goes on to put this together. So I'm very pleased to have him. You'll see more of him. He will be doing some presentations later in the year, and we'll be co-hosting a couple events as well. So nice to have you here. Awesome. And for those newbies, I'm Dayna Wilson. I'm a seniors real estate specialist and certified senior downsizing coach with Keller Williams Realty. And you already heard I founded this seminar series 8.5 years ago because I was finding that a lot of my friends, my family, my clients were either getting misinformation, couldn't find any information, or they were getting too much information. If you Google something, you get pages and pages of information, and not all of it is right, or maybe these people have not been vetted. So I decided to start this series, and we try to bring pertinent information for boomers, zoomers, and savvy seniors on the move, housing related, aging related, and we're all aging. The minute we're born, we're aging. And that is a perfect segue into today's topic. I always like to start the new year on something kind of positive and based on health and thriving and flourishing, my word. So today's topic is young at any age, nourished brain, energized body, thriving through creativity. And you'll see what the creativity part is later on. Actually, we'll talk about creativity through all these aspects. So I think we'll just start with having our expert panelists introduce themselves and just tell us a little bit about, we'll start with Zeno, and just ask you to share your name, your career, your role, your specialty, and what drew you to this.
Oh, wow, yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me back, Dayna. My name is Zeno Rasmussen. My official title is Associate Professor of Human Development at Cal State East Bay, formerly Hayward State, Cal State Hayward. And I've been there for about 28 years. And within that department, my specialty has been in teaching courses about aging or in gerontology. So gerontology is the interdisciplinary study of aging and elders, those who are aging. And I was drawn to it because I was working my way through my degrees, my PhD in biopsychology at the time it was called, and now that field of study has evolved into behavioral neuroscience. And so studying the brain, rat models of all sorts of things, learning, very interested in learning actually, a lot of learning models. But models of schizophrenia in rats. And then I took a seminar called Cognitive Aging from developmental psychologists. And so they recruited me for the seminar actually because they thought that the cognitive changes that happen with aging might have something to do with the brain. This is like in the 80s. And so like, you know, you're in that brain program, come, you know, take the seminar. We think you'll like it and it will be useful to have you like in the group talking about the studies we're gonna read on the brain, changing brain and aging. And I realized, wow, what a great application of my background in behavioral neuroscience to look at growth in a different phase of the lifespan. And I'll talk more about that, probably sprinkle out the concepts from gerontology for you. It's related to, but not geriatrics. That's a medical specialty. So that's my specialty within the lifespan is the fun part, the aging, the getting older part, right? Where every year is a real achievement. So that's it. I was drawn in because it was everybody ages, and it was a perfect application of my brain science background.
Wow. Thank you.
Sure.
Nicole, nice to have you back. Why don't you share a little bit about your career, your role? Did you do anything previously, and what drew you to this?
Sure. So thanks for having me back.
Of
again.
course.
My name's Nicole Rossell. I work for a company here in Walnut Creek called Inner Health and Wellness, which is a kind of a wellness company, but we specialize in nutrition and diet. I also work at the VA. I work with the Aging and Disabled Veterans program. So I'm all immersed in healthy aging and trying to help people age well and age gracefully. We're all aging, like you said. And I, too, took a course in my master's program called epigenetics, which studies how our genes influence how we age. So I think it's just fascinating. And to be honest, everything I recommend to people applies to everybody. No matter really what age you are, there are specific things that we do as we get older that, you know, we have to change. But the whole idea of living a healthy, holistic lifestyle, being as natural as possible, movement, all of that applies to everybody, and they all interconnect. You can't really be completely holistically healthy without addressing all of them: stress, social connection, exercise, diet. But my specialty is in diet, and I'm excited to be here.
What drew you to the area?
Just that course. Yeah, and learning. I mean, I've always been very into health and what's the best, and always interested in finding the new thing, and like, is this true? Is this not true? Is this founded? And now working with seniors on a daily basis, I'm just immersed in it, and I'm not getting any younger. So like, I'm gonna be doing all this. I'm doing it all with you too. So I love it.
Thank you. Mr. Steve, we are so excited to have you here. And if you would just share with the audience, who are you, what do you do, and your specialty, and maybe how you got to do what you're doing.
Well, I'm honored to be here. Thanks, Dayna, for asking me. And a lot of great connections. Zeno and I have known each other for a lot of years through various ways. I do have a last name. My name's Steve Kritzer. And I originally got my degree in psychology way back, and then discovered I could play music. So I've made my living for the last 50 years or so doing all kinds of music-related things. I've played for many years in restaurants and bars and in bands, and had a great time doing it, and realized what a great connection being able to play music for and with people is. It's a universal language. I've gotten to travel all over the world doing concerts, and people who even don't speak English can relate to music, and that's a really wonderful thing. And then about 20 years ago, I got involved in an organization in Santa Cruz, out of Santa Cruz, called, oddly enough, Young at Heart, and it was a fellow who'd been playing music in nursing homes and realizing many times what they get in the nursing home is some old guy coming in with an accordion playing You Are My Sunshine, and that a lot of these people who weren't able to get out to hear music deserved to have a professional concert. So we would dress up in a tuxedo, we would put on a real show with jokes and stories and play good music, and he got grants from various people to be able to pay us a good living wage, and I'm still doing that, and especially in memory care facilities. It's just absolutely remarkable when you're playing songs and having people who maybe don't even speak remember every word to the song you're doing and singing along. And then I got into the world of ukulele a few years ago. I play guitar primarily, but ukulele is something I fell into. So I teach ukulele. I lead a lot of ukulele jams where everybody plays together in some wineries in Livermore. You get 50, 60, 70 people out there all playing ukuleles. And some of them are for senior groups because it's such an easy instrument to play. And I'll talk more about that. So I wear a lot of hats, but it's all music, and it's a wonderful way to just be with people.
We may have to get a group together. We'll learn ukulele. Ukulele. Ukulele.
Ukulele.
Ukulele. All right. Cool. Well, you can see we've got a bunch of smart people up here, and we're very excited to have them. We're going to start with Nicole. And my first question is, how does our relationship with nutrition need to evolve as we age? And then sort of an add-on to that is, what changes in our bodies make certain nutritional strategies kind of more important later in life? And can we really keep ourselves young at any age? Is that possible?
Okay. So as we age, I mean, we could get into the weeds with all the different things that go on in our bodies from hormones and things, but the main thing that happens around food is our metabolism tends to slow down gradually from 30 on. So as we get older, we need fewer and fewer calories, and maybe our appetites decrease as well. But the demand for certain nutrients goes up as we age: calcium, vitamin D, B12, and protein especially. I'll talk more later about protein, which is all the rage now. I don't know why now it's all the rage, but protein's everywhere. But it is very important as we age. And our tastes can change, our appetites, like I said, slow down a little bit, our digestion can get a little off or different than it used to be, or not maybe as efficient as it used to be. Different medications we're on can impact all of it: appetite, taste, and all of that can impact how we eat. If we're not tasting things and the food doesn't taste good, we don't really want to eat. So it's dealing with those things that come naturally with aging, and then some that are side effects of certain medications or chronic health conditions we have that we're dealing with as we age. So back to protein, one of the most challenging and significant ways our bodies change as we age is the loss of muscle mass. Sarcopenia, it's called. And when we start to lose significant muscle mass, it can get very problematic, because protein in our muscles has to do with it's tied to our immunity, it's tied to so many things, it's tied to fall risk. So we really want to prevent that as much as possible, that muscle mass. So protein needs go up as we age. And I can get into the specifics if you want around how much we should be getting. It's dependent on your weight, really, and your activity level, I would say. And this is like rote for me, but I know it's confusing for a lot of people. So you basically take your weight in pounds and you convert it to kilograms. The easy way to do that is to divide it by 2.2. If we were in the UK, we wouldn't have to do this because that's how they weigh themselves. But so it's your kilograms in body weight. If you're just moderately active, maybe not very active, you want to have about 1.0 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So you just times those two numbers, 1.0 to 1.2. If you're more active, if you're exercising a lot, you want more, maybe up to 1.4 or 1.5. If you've got some health condition or you are having sarcopenia, you've already lost muscle mass, you want to go even higher than that, like maybe 1.8, maybe even 2.0. So that's a simple calculation you can do to just have a ballpark. And I don't like to get too stringent on it so people are counting every little gram, because that's not fun. but trying to have a ballpark for the day, maybe I need to have 100 grams a day. So I would split that up between my 3, 4, 5 meals, whatever I eat. That's another key. Eating your protein throughout the day is very important versus having a giant steak at lunch and then not having any. Our bodies don't process protein that way. They process only a certain amount at a time. So we want to space it out throughout the day. So have a little at each meal. So take that whole amount that you need for the day and just kind of divide it and go from there, if that makes sense. What else was I going to say about protein? Because it's super, super important. Another thing with aging is the bone density, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about. Bone density is really important to maintain if we can. Again, that involves getting enough calcium, vitamin D from sunlight especially. That's the best way to get it. Strength training. We've all heard about this lately. It's very in right now, but any kind of weight-bearing exercise builds your bones. So walking and things are great, but that's not going to build your bones as much as like doing some sort of weight-bearing exercise, whatever that means for you, and whatever is a little challenging for you is going to build your bones the most.
Wow. All right, let's see. And then, okay. So I guess the last part was, can we really keep ourselves young at any age? I mean, that's an interesting
It's hard.
question.
That's a tricky question because we're not young at any, but age is a relative thing. Like, what does that mean to you? Can we do what we did when we were 20? Probably not. But can we still be active and vital and feel good? Of course. And that all has to do with everything we're going to talk about, the diet, the whole foods, more plants, less meat and dairy, and less processed foods. Exercise is so important. Stress, social connection, creativity, all of those things will make you feel better, and that's the whole goal, right? Just to feel good in your body and want to do things and be motivated at any age, really. There's people that are 20 that are miserable and don't do any of that, but we don't want that. We want it for everybody, so that's the goal.
Right. I have a question for you. So I want to track my protein. So my kids, both of my daughters are super health conscious. They're at the gym all the time. Yeah. They watch what they eat. Everything's organic. It goes on and on and on. I can't keep up with them, but I try. Is there so they count their macros. Mm-hmm. So if we could talk about, I know it's not one of my questions, but macros, and then is there a couple good free apps that we could plug in what we're eating and it would tell us if we're getting what we're supposed to be getting?
Yeah, I think you mentioned you're using MyFitnessPal.
I am, yeah.
Okay. And that one's decent, right?
MyFitnessPal, have you guys looked into that? It's free.
And there's one called Chronometer, Chronometer. That's another kind of thing. You just plug in what you're eating and it shows you how much. It doesn't, the last time I was on Chronometer, it doesn't give you recommendations for you specifically. It just tells you how much you're getting out of what you're eating. So you kind of have to have the knowledge beforehand of what you're wanting, how many grams of protein, for instance, and then it'll tell you based on what you enter in there, what you're getting. If you're not into apps and that's too much and you just don't want to do that, just, like I said, try to get some at every meal and be conscious if you're very active or you're doing strength training, you need more. And you need it specifically after the strength training routine. So if you go strength train, try to have something within like an hour after a good amount of protein. And protein is very in, like I said, so most things tell you how much protein is in it nowadays. I mean, you can get drinks at Starbucks now that have protein in them, and they'll tell you exactly how much is in it. But the goal is to get maybe like a fist, or this part of your hand, the fist part. Yeah, the palm part. Get something similar to that size at every meal. If that makes sense. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be meat. If you're plant-based, that's great too. There's lots of options for that as well.
So the app, though, gives you a little pie chart, right? It gives you a pie chart. If I plug in my food for the day, it'll give me, well, this is how much fat, fat, carbs, and protein I ate. But that's fine. I'm looking at this pie chart, but is that good or bad? Like, I don't know what my chart should look like, other than I probably have to come and see you.
Well, generally for people over 65, we want about the protein to be between 10 and 35% of the daily calories. I would say higher than that. These are the guidelines from like the government, so they tend, in my opinion, they tend to be a little, yeah, and cautious, I guess. Yeah, I would definitely go higher. I would go towards the 35% or even higher, again, if you're very active or you already have muscle loss. And then for carbs, between 45 and 65%.
Really?
Yes. The kind of carbs matter, obviously. A donut's a carb. We don't want 65% of our diet to be donuts, right? I know, sorry. Maybe 5% or something. But like complex carbs, whole grains, things like that, vegetables, those are carbs as well. Some of the vegetables are very high in carbs. And what was I going to say about that?
And fat.
And then fat, we don't give a recommendation on fat. Fat is super important though, especially for brain health. Like 60% of our brain is made of fat. So it's really important to have fat in your diet. Again, it's the type of fat.
Yeah,
Yes.
type of fat. Yeah.
Yes. Trans fats that are not allowed anymore in foods, that's a type of fat, but that's not a good fat. That's very inflammatory, which we'll talk about inflammation too. So we want like healthy fats like avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oil, things like that, that kind of fat. Even some good butter, if you eat dairy, some good like organic grass-fed butter is a pretty good healthy fat. So we need the fat. And you probably, this is very basic, but you've probably all seen the My Plate. The government's made up this thing to make it easier for people. It's a plate, and it shows you which portions of the plate should contain which macros. Yeah. Half of the plate, and I agree with this, should be vegetables, maybe some fruit in there. Most of us don't eat that way, but that's the goal, and that's something to aim for. A quarter of the plate could be the protein, and then another quarter would be the complex carbs. And then I would put fat in there as well, some fat.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And then remember, be writing down your questions, because we're going to leave plenty of time for questions at the end too. So I'm sure you're going to have some. We had lots of questions last time we had these guys here. Okay, so Nicole, what are the most important brain nourishing nutrients that we could eat, maintaining our sharp, healthy brains? Mm-hmm. And then what should we eat regularly to protect memory and cognitive function? Can food even do that?
Yeah. So like I said, fat is the main one for the brain. And specifically omega-3s, which are found in fatty fish, like sardines, salmon. They're also found in walnuts if you don't eat fish, flax seeds, hemp seeds, things like that. Omega-3s are really, really important, and most Americans don't get nearly enough. That's why the Mediterranean diet is, everyone talks about that, because it's got lots of fish, lots of nuts, olive oil, lots of olive oil, and olives, yeah. So they're automatically getting way more omegas than we are on a daily basis, because we just don't eat that way mostly in this country. So trying to get some omegas in every day. And if you can't, if you don't like fish or you just are not doing it, you can take a supplement, an omega supplement, which is great, and it's great to lower cholesterol levels. They prescribe it now for people with high cholesterol. You do want to be careful with supplementation, though, because you can overdo it and it causes your blood to thin. That's why it's effective with lowering your blood cholesterol. So if you've got blood issues or clotting issues, you really want to be careful. You can overdo it with the supplements. It's really hard to overdo it with the diet, to be honest. You could eat salmon 3 times a day, and you still probably would be okay because it's processed different in the body. But if you're eating salmon and nuts and taking an omega, just be careful. Check with your doctor. You don't want to get cut and can't stop bleeding because your blood's so thin. So that's the main one for the brain function. And inflammation's a big thing too, which I know is a question in the future, but inflammation plays into everything. So we want anti-inflammatory foods as well, which will help with brain function as well. And what they're going to talk about is going to help with cognitive function so much too. So
Well, perfect segue, because the next question is, everybody talks about inflammation.
Yeah.
You know, it's always in our AARP magazines, you know, an article about inflammation. My question is, what is it? What causes it? And then you and I had talked about something about putting out the fire. So maybe talk about that.
So inflammation is, we have to have it. It's natural. Our bodies, it's our body's way of healing. Inflammation happens when we cut ourselves, when we hit our knee and it gets all red and gets swollen. That's inflammation, but it's necessary. It's the body sending white blood cells and lots of good stuff to heal whatever happened. It happens when we get a cold and our throats get swollen, or it's hard. They're inflamed because they're trying to fight off whatever's coming at it. So it's natural. The problem is when it keeps going on and on and on, and we have like this chronic low-grade inflammation for a long time. That's what starts to impact our health. That's what starts to impact our cholesterol levels, cognitive function. It can, impact diabetes, cancer, dementia, so many things. So what causes it, there's studies, but it's not clear. It's not a specific pinpoint thing, but we do know that diet is a cause of it. There's other things too. Stress, chronic stress can lead to chronic inflammation as well, but diet's a big one. So I was telling Dayna, I think of it as like a fire, like our body sends a fire and it sets a fire and it gets hot and it sends it to where it needs to heal. But if the fire is going when there's no injury, there's no sickness, and it's constantly simmering, it's gonna do damage over time. So we kind of wanna tamper down that fire as much as possible with our lifestyle and our diet, with anti-inflammatory foods. Again, everything like ties back to like eating more plants, less processed food, less ultra-processed food, stuff out of a box or with an ingredient list this long and things you can't pronounce. You want to eat stuff that you know what it is, for the most part. There's room for all of that, I think, in a happy, healthy relationship with food. Like, have it all, but have most of it be plants and whole as much as possible, and to the extent that you can make that happen for yourself, affordability and all that taken into consideration.
Nice, cool. Okay, well, you've talked about protein a little bit already, right?
Yes.
But we talked about muscle mass, and we talked about the role that protein plays, and I think you kind of already talked about how much we really need. I don't know if you mentioned, well, you kind of did, optimal times to consume it, you said throughout the day.
Throughout the day, and then especially after any kind of strength-bearing exercise you do, any exercise, but especially if you're doing weight-bearing exercises, have some after that. And I will say there's a caveat. If you have kidney issues or something going on with your kidneys, you want to be careful with protein, because depending on which stage you're at with that, check with your doctor. It's hard on our kidneys to process a lot of protein, so if you have kidney issues, the recommendations are not the same. So check with your doctor on that.
Got it.
Yeah.
On to gut health.
Okay.
Gut health. Don't we hear about that all the time? Okay, a couple years ago, I'd never heard of gut health.
Yeah.
So is it a fad? Is it a real thing? And then part of my question included, how does what's going on here, could it even affect my mood and other things?
Yeah.
So I'm very curious about this.
Yeah, gut health is so fascinating. I love talking about gut health. And it's not a fad. Like,
Okay.
we're just starting to figure out everything that's going on in there and how it affects every area of our body. Most of our immune system is in our gut, number one. There's tons of hormones in there that impact our mood, impact how we metabolize food, how we gain weight, how we can't lose weight. I think there's 1 trillion microbes in all of our guts, so that's a lot. And like I said, it affects immunity, digestion, mood, metabolism, all of that plays into our gut. So, and I don't know about you, but if you've ever had a gut that's not working well, or you're constipated, or you're gassy, it just makes life pretty miserable. That's all you can think about. And so just that impacts our mood but actually physiologically it's impacting our mood too with the hormones and things that are going on. So gut health is super, super important. And again, plant-based, whole grains, whole foods, all will help, and the other stuff will not. There's inflammation also happening too. So all these things just circle and come back to each other, and they all interconnect. So gut health is very, very important. The more diverse the microbes in there, the better. So eating different foods that provide different kind of nutrients is going to be great because you're going to get lots of different things going on there. Fiber is so important. Fiber, 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 fiber. It helps with digestion. It helps keep you fuller longer. Lowers blood sugar if you have blood sugar issues or diabetes. It feeds the other microbes. So it's just, fiber is so important. And again, plants give you the most fiber. It's all back to plants. Thank you, Mother Nature, right? But they give you everything you need, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. So important. Even if you're not a huge vegetable person, just have some. Try to have a little with every meal, and it's going to make a difference.
Wow, okay. And part of that, again, we didn't talk about this, but okay, there's prebiotics, postbiotics. Like, what is all that? And do we need to take supplements? Do we need to take powders? You know, there's a lot of people on KQED. You know, have you ever seen those shows on KQED with Dr. whomever? There's numbers of them. And they talk about that. Can you just touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with probiotics if you get a good one. Ideally, we'd be getting most of the probiotics and prebiotics from our food. But if you're really having gut issues and, you know, it's causing, you know, your life to not be manageable and you're not going to the bathroom, that's a big one, then a probiotic could be beneficial for sure. But the basis needs to be, prebiotics are the things that feed the probiotics. So they're like the food. So you kind of need both. So prebiotics are in things like onions, artichokes, what else? Bananas, like unripe bananas, like not so sweet, like the kind of greener bananas. Those all provide prebiotics. Probiotics are the things that eat the prebiotics. Those are in yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, all these very old traditional cultural foods that people have been eating for centuries provide tons of probiotics. So anything fermented, sauerkraut, like I said, kimchi, those are the same, different cultures. Yogurt, what else? Tempeh, which is a kind of tofu that's fermented. Those are all going to give you really good probiotics in your gut.
Interesting. Even though yogurt is a dairy, and we're trying to eat less dairy, so how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you whether you eat dairy or not. Some people choose not to, and that's fine too. Dairy, though, like in the Mediterranean diet, for instance, they do eat dairy. They don't eat a ton of dairy, but they eat some dairy. Okay. They eat yogurt, Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt has tons of protein, and it's got the probiotics. So if you can eat Greek yogurt, if you like it, I do. It's very thick, but I like it. Great for you because you get your protein and your probiotics. And I would just say with dairy, if you can manage, try to get organic. There's less pesticides, there's less antibiotics, which you want to avoid. Dairy's the one thing. Now, there's a couple foods that I really try to buy only organic because I know what goes into processing them, and dairy is one of them. So if you can get organic, grass-fed, even better. But again, it's all based on your budget and what you have access to. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Energy throughout the day, because I know a lot of us, at least I have to do my thinking and my writing in the morning because my brain gets a little tired in the afternoon, right? I have a little afternoon slump. I'm a morning person. I don't do, you know, in my real estate practice, I don't have late meetings and I'm not working on contracts after 9 o'clock at night. I'm just not. I know when my brain is sharpest, right? Mm-hmm. So any nutritional strategies to help us kind of keep that energy going until bed? And then how do we calm down at bedtime?
Yeah, I think it's really important to know your type. Some people are super productive in the morning. Some people are not. Some people are super productive late in the afternoon. So to know individually how you function is really important too. That way you're not trying to push yourself and beating yourself up because you're not getting more done at 4 o'clock when your body doesn't want to do that at 4. Your body is tired or that's not your rhythm. So knowing that is key. But again, processed foods, highly processed, sugary foods, they're going to give you a little high for a minute, but they're always going to lead to a blood sugar crash and your energy is going to dip. So avoiding those, especially those times of days when you tend to get more tired, like for most of us it's late afternoon, don't have a lot of sugar then because it's just going to make it worse. If you want your sugar, have it earlier. And then low blood sugar is a thing too, especially if you have blood sugar issues. You don't want your blood sugar to get too low because then you get really, really no energy, and sometimes you even get dizzy, and it can be very problematic. You can faint and all that. So know your blood sugar. If you feel like you're kind of shaky, you probably need some food in your system. So know that because we don't want to have anybody falling down from low blood sugar. Water is another question. Water, hydration is super, super important. That can lead to very, very high levels of fatigue. You can feel super tired, and all you needed was some water to drink. And it can lead to headaches as well, too. And also know that it's natural for our bodies our bodies aren't meant to go, go, go all the time and have all this energy, and then it's, 9 o'clock, they just go to bed. Like, that's not how our bodies work. We're in tune with nature and the sunlight, and when the sun comes up, we could be coming up and getting the sunlight, and that wakes us up. It has to do with hormones and cortisol, and then when the sun goes down, we kind of start to wind down, but just your car's not like your body's not like a car. You can't just get in it, start it, and then stop it, and it needs some rhythm and it needs some consistency. So I think getting sunlight early in the day, within 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up, is super important to get your clock started. It's hard to do because you need to go outside. And it's been raining for, 3 weeks here, but there's still sunlight in the sky. But getting some of that will start your clock in the morning that it's time to get up. And then kind of during the end of the day, winding it down, turning off bright lights when the sun goes down, not having every light in your house on, kind of dimming them. It's just letting your body know, like, we're starting to call it a day. We're winding down. We're not going anymore. Think of it that way for your body. It needs some cues from you to get into that mood. And then your energy levels throughout the day tend to stay a little bit more normal. We will have dips, and that's fine too. If you're tired in the afternoon, rest. You don't need to be pushing through it. Take a nap or meditate or just sit down and relax or, get some fresh air.
Awesome. You talked about hydration, cognitive function. How can people tell if they're adequately hydrated? Adequately hydrated.
Number one is the color of your pee, your urine. If it's very dark, you're probably not hydrated. It should be like a slightly yellow, clear, That's one way to tell. Headaches, if you're getting headaches, that could be a sign of dehydration, especially in the afternoon. That happens to a lot of people. Your skin, you could pull your skin, and if it bounces back quickly, if it takes a long time to go back, you might be dehydrated.
It's called tenting. Your skin stays up like a tent, and I'm like, look at mine. Ew, look at that.
Everybody do that.
And then energy too. If you're really low on energy, you might be dehydrated. And if you sweat a lot, if it gets really hot here in the summer, if you're sweating a lot, you can get dehydrated pretty quickly. So that's when it's really important to keep drinking water. And we want to drink it throughout the day, not just chug it, 24 ounces down in one sitting. We want to kind of, like protein, we want to kind of just sip it throughout the day so you don't hit those like lows of, I haven't had any water in 4 hours, And then electrolytes can be really useful too, especially in the summer when you're sweating. You're losing the electrolytes in your sweat, so you want to replace them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And just because we could talk all day. We could talk all day to all three of you, but I'm like looking at the clock going, oh my gosh. So I'm going to zip on over to Zeno, and I'm going to ask you, what does it mean to be young at any age from a gerontological perspective?
I mean, I could take a shot at that, but we have to be pro-aging, right? We have to acknowledge we're not young, right? We have to be realistic. But, you know, if we want to get some of the same, I guess, optimistic outlook that you get from youth, and that is to look at aging or your elderhood as a stage of development. We're still developing. It's like childhood or adolescence or adulthood, where there are developmental challenges, right, we have to face and overcome or succumb to some of them. I mean, that's the truth, is as we get older, we also lose some of our people, our social network can shrink. We survive. That's the sad thing about survival and longevity, is not everybody that you started with is going to still be here. So part of this question too is like, you know, thinking about like, what do we know about aging? How has that changed, right? You got that second part of that. And I think that's a big part of it, is that there's this pro-aging movement or an anti-aging movement. The anti-aging movement is mostly about looking young. You know, looks are, okay, great, maybe looks are important to some people, but, you know, how you feel is much more important. And again, seeing aging as a developmental process, just like growing. In fact, the word gerontology, it's got this overlap with growth. It's almost in there, growth. So even though you're aging, you're still growing and developing. There's still a growth and development aspect to aging. So if that's that positive parallel to like young at any age, you're still growing whatever age you are at.
So we hear you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? But what does science tell us about neuroplasticity? I can't say that word.
Plasticity. Plasticity. Well, this is, again, an old concept. Both of these things, you know, brain growth called neuroplasticity. Again, my background in learning and development is at work here, and we can still learn. It might take longer. I mean, the behavioral aspects of learning it might take more trials to learn the same thing. We're joking a little bit about ukulele. I'm up to 2 chords. I know I've learned 2 chords because I can still play them. I think I can fake a third one, but I don't know the name of it. So I don't really know it yet. That's my own aging, or as my son, who started when he was about 11, he, you know, knows hundreds of chords at this point. So you can still learn if you want to learn, right? And you have to put some intention behind that. And so part of this aspect of neuroplasticity that we've learned more and more about as we examine it is that it is still happening late in life, and it's even happening in Alzheimer's disease. While one area of the brain is being, you know, lost and there's significant neurodegeneration there, other areas are still forming new connections to try to compensate and make up for those lost neurons or lost neuronal connections. And the same is true for the elder. Without the disease process, you've got a lot of potential growth in terms of learning. So
I like it. That's good. That gives me hope.
Including learning how to age.
Yeah, well, I know that's hard. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Sleep and cognitive health, and what is the relationship between quality sleep and brain health, and just between you and me, because we're just friends here. I'm having a heck of a time sleeping lately. Am I the only one? Like, I wake up at the same time every night. It's like usually 3:10, and there I am thinking about, well, maybe I better get up and start work.
Right. Well, we are diurnal animals. And we know from, again, basic behavioral neuroscience that aging disrupts the normal sleep cycle. Rats, even for rats, so we can't just blame it on us and our TV watching patterns. You know, your binge watching, you know, rats get disrupted too. But your binge watching could further disrupt the natural change in sleep-wake cycles that happen with aging. So part of this, we have to accept maybe we're not going to get the same quality and duration of sleep as we were used to, right? and so, like, prepare for that. And if you're a little sleepy, maybe address it. Maybe I don't fully need the nap. I need to make sure I've kept up with my hydration, my nutrition. And the importance of sleep is that that's when the learning gets consolidated, right? Something that's in the short-term memory, you just worked on it without a period of good sleep, and they say it looks specifically to be REM sleep, so you've got to go through stage 1, light sleep, stage 2, medium, stage 3, deep sleep, back up to stage 2, and 1, you almost wake back up when you have REM sleep, rapid eye movement, the dreaming, and at that point you're very easily woken up. Hopefully there's nothing there to wake you up. You can have that and then go back into deep sleep and have a couple of, they call those bouts, like a fight, these sort of one time down deep and then back up. So it's pretty important for that learning and consolidating what you experienced that day. And it's also that long quality of sleep is important for the recovery and recuperation of the work of the day and getting those proteins broken down and reabsorbed to form muscle, but also remove the debris from your brain and your muscles so that that inflammatory process doesn't escalate and turn into sort of what they call the cytokine storm, where those little bit of inflammation creates a lot more and you can't fight it. You can't bail out you can't get rid of it quick enough. So the sleep is important for a variety of reasons, but yet don't beat yourself up not sleeping well. Do something else. Try, wake up for a little while, go, read something in a quiet, dark, anything, strategies. And napping is okay. I do want to talk about, a study came out this year, it's been examined, that there looks like there's an association between napping and dementia. So don't be afraid that the napping is going to cause dementia, and don't be concerned that maybe you're napping because you have dementia. It's not that causal, but it looks like it could be an early warning sign. So if you are fatigued a lot, address it, and I make that pitch for the macrobiotics, that whole plate. There's no room left there for cookies. If you need a cookie for comfort or for social connection because somebody made cookies for you, have the cookie. But the food pyramid and the plate, the healthy plate, we can make fun of what they do and don't have. They don't have a portion of fat. They don't say, here's the fat, because the fat's going to be built into the butter in your rice, right? Your brown rice with butter. Oh, I love that, right? It's going to be built into the protein, too. It's going to come in there. There's no section for fat, no section for sweets either. Sorry, teeny little section.
Well, social connection. So why is social engagement, such a powerful factor in healthy aging? And what happens psychologically when we're socially isolated versus meaningfully connected?
Yeah, the social connection is so important. There's it's feeding your brain. If you were alone on a desert island and didn't hear any music, for one, or have any social interaction to practice your vocabulary with and communicate, is stimulation to the brain. So for brain health, we talk about making sure that all the senses are working, because each sensory channel is input into brain stimulation, and then communication is you're actively exercising some of what you have to say, and then, if you can do something that's complex, it's both exercise and socially connecting you, then you're really challenging that brain to, say, form new connections and learn, even bridge. It's not very physically demanding, but there's new learning going on. Music, but like dance, social dance. So that's really challenging multiple systems. Start to reduce that input. Now, there's going to be atrophy along some of those pathways. So this is one reason auditory health is so important, because if you cut off that auditory input, you will see within months or years atrophy along the auditory processing pathway. And so even to regain hearing with a hearing aid later will help reconnect you socially, but look out for your own hearing and your hearing of your loved ones. And one thing that's great about the pro-aging movement is hearing aids should no longer be a stigma, right? It's okay. We know now as we get older how important maintaining that social connection is for your mental health, your personal connection and meaning, but also we know it's important for brain health. So ask your doctor if you're not sure.
Okay. I know this is your specialty, right? Creative aging. And how do creative activities, you've mentioned it a little bit, music, dance, art, writing, physically change the brain. You've mentioned it a little bit, but what makes these activities particularly powerful for maintaining positive cognitive vitality?
Yeah, again, just think about that brain health. You know, we have, it's a concept, it's called the work of aging, right? You know, like, sounds like a lot of work to, like, you know, get the right amount of food, the right types of fats, right? So there's work involved, and to maintain your, you know, physical fitness when there's new challenges, to maintain the social connections. So something, you know, we'll hear about, oh, do puzzles, word crosswords, Sudoku, however you say that. But those are exercising pathways you have. But again, to think of yourself as a person who's aging and trying to get the most out of it, think of yourself as a creative type. And maybe you're not used to thinking of yourself as a creative type because you think a creative type is like a Jackson Pollock, you know, or a Carole King, songwriters, you know, thing. You know, dinner's creative, you know, create that plate that looks nice and checks off some boxes. And then thinking of the more creative arts, for example, writing your own stories, memoirs. There's good memory exercises to look at a memory shard, something you remember, and just examine that memory as part of building a set of memoirs. Or maybe you wanted to write poetry, and now you could have time to write poetry. And it's exercising sort of the mind, brain, spiritual realm in a way that all the other work of aging doesn't always touch on it. So consider one of your jobs is to connect with your creative potential, whether it's creating healthy meals or, you know, expressing yourself through a single chord sometimes is all it takes, is one chord, and you feel good as it resonates out. Connecting with your old music is great, and especially if you are involved in elder care, the value of connecting someone who can't work the technology with their music that usually gets played through technology, but even more powerful is if you can connect them with a live performer of their favorite, or if you can give them a chance to express themselves musically through voice. May not be able to pick up a ukulele and strum, but the voice is there for most, and that's why for people with aphasia, even singing, vocalizing, whatever they can, is part of their rehabilitation.
I just came up with a great thing that you should create for all of us.
Oh, what's that?
Wouldn't it be cool if you created a summer camp we could all go to?
Ooh, that would
Like,
be
seriously,
fun.
I get great ideas for everybody else but myself. Yeah, so that I could take, like, 1 week you could teach us how to do creative writing and write our stories, and another week we could do, like, learn a dance, and the next week we could paint, and the next, I'm excited.
Well, a program. Yeah.
Yes.
Like summer, I
Yes.
spent a lot of time in summer camp with scouts, but now I've retired
Yes.
because my kids are out of scouting. But
I mean,
elder summer camp, that'd be awesome.
With all your free time, right?
And Nicole could create the menu.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Got to have the
I'll do the marketing.
commissary.
This is going to be fun. Okay. We'll talk offline. Okay. Perfect segue, because you did give us some ideas on how to stay young at any age, starting today. So music making was one thing that Zeno mentioned, right? So music's one of the most powerful, creative, healthy aging activities because it engages multiple brain regions simultaneously, which is so cool. And it's inherently joyful, it's social, and it elevates our mood and our energy. And so we're going to ask Steve some questions now. And the first one is, what drew you to the ukulele, and what has teaching this instrument and others, especially to adult learners, what has that taught you about creativity, learning, and staying young at heart?
Well, one of the specific, I mentioned before that my guitar is maybe my main instrument, but when I got into ukulele, it's an easy instrument to play. I have a lot of people who come to me. I teach at a music store in Dublin, among other things, and I get a lot of seniors, people my age, our age, who come who maybe at one time played guitar, and because of arthritis or something like that, can no longer do the fine motor movements, but ukulele is much easier. It's only 4 strings, and you can make music almost instantly. We were talking about, Nicole, you said you played violin, and on a difficulty scale, how much more difficult that instrument is. It's beautiful, but ukulele, you can, within 15 minutes, you can be playing a couple of chords and play 25 songs. And really, that's true. So that's part of what drew me to it, is how inclusive it is, that it's not me performing for you, it's all of us playing together. And that's one of the reasons I do a lot of jams. I lead a lot of ukulele jams, where it's not just me playing, it's all of us playing. And it's just remarkable how much it brings people out of themselves, and connects everybody together too.
Sort of like when you go to a concert, you know, and I'm belting out the songs.
Oh yeah.
I think I sound really good, but that's because I'm singing it with everybody
Beside
else
the
in the
point,
audience, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Music in the brain, Steve. From your experience teaching students of all ages, what changes do you notice in people when they start making music regularly?